BlogTalk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to this program all about your Kundalini and the different experiences that you can have when you have awakened the sacred goddess within you, the sacred divine goddess and God, Shakti, the Shiva, sacred male, sacred female, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene, and so the list goes. All representations of sacred male, sacred female are included within the Kundalini. Before I get too far into the program, I'm going to ask Tim and Andrew if they can hear in the chat room. So howdy ho to you, Andrew and Tim. So if you can let me know ASAP, you can hear this program, then please write. So, thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Good. Okay, so we can just go right on ahead here. And I want to welcome everybody in the chat room. And I'd like to welcome everybody who's calling in. Ishmael and Joey, David, Rosemary, and the one strange person from the Emerald Isle. And I just want to say Happy New Year again. We are on the 9th or the 10th day of January, 2018, and it's proving, at least for me, to be a very, very important year. For those of you that have listened to the show for a little bit of while, I usually have maybe one or two scheduled seminars somewhere in the world. And it looks like we're having up to maybe 4 or 5 now, everywhere from Denver to the Sunshine State of Florida, possibly into Washington State, definitely into Germany, possibly into New York. I mean, there are a lot of things that are coming up just in the first 10 days of this month, really. I mean, it's just amazing how that is occurring, and so also involving myself into a study put out by scientists. Yes, the scientific mind is reaching in towards the Kundalini. Only one of its members has activated or awakened the Kundalini within themselves, and they need to kind of understand within scientific terms what the Kundalini is. And then they're calling the Kundalini at this point, what was it? It was some weird scientific term, human expressive something. I'll get it back to you so you can know, just in case, scientific route with this. And of course, there's a Kundalini Summit that I've been invited to speak in, and I have to get that going too. So a lot of things are happening here, and I think it's going to go that way for 2018. It's going to be a very, very busy year for Kundalini, and I think the time is right for that. I think that everybody having ascension, well, not everybody, but a certain portion of the population, the energetic, spiritual population, discovering that they're having ascension symptoms, which really, I mean, if you can clear away some of the New Age detritus around the ascension symptom, it's basically a Kundalini activation. And so a lot of people are having that, and they're responding to that. And of course, the symptoms are very, very similar to Kundalini awakening with they're throwing in other things too. You don't know, and it becomes this wide open field of possibility. Of course, the channelers will come in, and the tarot cards will come in, and I don't have as much of a problem with the tarot cards. They can be actually very helpful, but the channeling, not so much. And the mediumship, not so much. But I guess, you know, we kind of come with the kind of like if you live in this world, you know, you come in contact with ticks and worms and parasites of different species, and they all kind of like, if they have the opportunity to, you know, they'll live off of your blood, and that's what they do, just like a mosquito. So that's part of the deal sometimes that we have to deal with here. We have to be able to look through the egocentric proclamations of this or that philosophy that pertains to, you know, a personal agenda or personal egocentric agenda, like the great channeler Susie Smith, you know, and we have to, you know, as we're being offered everything from the outside in, it's like Susie and the great healer Bob Jones. You know, whereas we're being offered all of these things from the outside in, we have to consciously make the choice to look within first. We go within first. The treasures of the Kundalini are within. They are not an outside to in influence. If, you know, when all is said and told, it is looking inside to the sacred divine feminine first, and then allowing her to build that nest within us so that the sacred male can come through the fontanelle and into the you know, the Kundalini awakening process. And so, you know, we have to do that. We have to make that determination for ourselves. We have to decide, well, do we, you know, is this Susie Smith that we're following, or you know, is it something within us? Is Sacred Mother directing you towards a certain individual who is you know, is saying certain things that she may want you to hear? Fine. You know, this is good. If you have the level of discernment that you can tell what Sacred Mother is wanting you to do, and then of course you can act on it, well, this is really good. This is the way you should go. And so I really respect a person that can make that choice outside of the barrage of New Age, spiritual assumption, or, you know, religious assumption based upon, you know, 1,000 years of you know, mistake repetition. You know, meaning that let me use one for example, since everybody's being accused of rape and sexual misconduct. You know, assuming that women cannot have Kundalini. Well, that's been a very cherished sentiment throughout the centuries, my friends, centuries, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. Well, women can't have it, and yet, you know, they have it right in front of you. But, well, that's something else. That's menopause. You know, she's having something. Maybe she's a little crazy. You know, I mean, the men would find many different ways to kind of minimize a woman's obvious Kundalini activation, obvious ascension into the divine flesh. And it's just one of those things. And, you know, getting back to the whole sexual thing, I guess I should weigh in on it since I just mentioned it. A lot of people love to tear down what they perceive as the powerful and the rich and, you know, the famous and whatnot, and a lot of those powerful people commit activities that are hurtful to another person, hurtful to their self-expression, hurtful to their career, hurtful to their inner authority over their lives, you know, taking away that inner authority, that freedom. And on the one hand, I do think it is a fair thing. Oh, geez. Just a second here. I got to take this. It's my mom. Hello. Hey, I'm on the radio right now. Can I call you right back? It'll be a couple hours. Yes, I'll be available. Okay. No, no. All right. I'll talk with you then. Thank you. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. But when my mom calls, I've got to answer that phone call. She is a very, very special person in my life, and she is, she's a representative of sacred feminine for me. So, boy, she's the queen bee. When the queen bee says, "Hey, I'm calling you," well, you better pick up. Uh, Getting back to this, though, it can be, a very, very, very hard and harsh thing to be a woman in the society that has been in existence for the last 2,000 years. Women have always paid the price. They've always paid the heavy price. They've always been subjugated and controlled and owned as property, and raped mentally, emotionally, physically. It's been the harder path is to be a woman on this world, generally speaking. I mean, there are some women that are just like some of the saints, Saint Teresa of Avila, certainly, and some of the other feminine saints, certainly within the Christian religion, they were quite powerful in and of themselves. And it's the Kunalini that basically begin to steer their lives towards the fulfillment of the power of the Kundalini within them. Although they would have called it, the power of Christ or the fire of Christ, or, some other thing that fit in with their religion. But for the most part, in the masses, in the unawakened masses, women were treated harshly and still are. You go to the Congo right now, and if you're a woman, and I don't care what color woman you are, if you're a white woman, well, then that's fine. You're just, you're something exotic. You're like exotic Asian food or Caucasian food or whatever it is. And so you're still taken advantage of unless you have some sort of a male counterpart to protect you from the ravages of that society down there. And that goes with a lot of the different societies. In China, you won't see a Mao Tse-tung that is feminine. You'll see a wife of the Chinese leader, but you won't see the feminine in power in China right now because that's just not going to happen in their society. In the United States, we have yet to see a female president. And the whole, the list goes on and on and on and on. Within the Kundalini, Sacred Mother takes her ascendance. The Sacred Mother takes the 50% that she is. Sacred Father takes the 50% that he is. There is equality within Kundalini, and even though that equality may not happen at right at the moment. I mean, so for instance, when a woman, I'm going to use human beings as an example here. When a woman is gestating, well, the man doesn't get to gestate. Not that I'm complaining, but the man doesn't get to gestate. And so where's the equality there? Man doesn't get to feel the baby kicking around inside of him. Now, certainly, you can telepathically tune in, and you can purposefully join in and feel the infant, through the body of the mother. But generally speaking, in the unawakened context, the man doesn't get to feel too much of the, "Oh gosh, honey, I think I'm pregnant," or "Oh gosh, Junior's kicking down there," or "Oh gosh, I have this morning sickness. Please, I've got to barf." Or any of the myriad of symptoms that come with being pregnant. The man doesn't get to experience these things. Not that he's dying to experience it, but I think many, many husbands, love their wives so much that they would actively and try to take as much of a burden off of her as they possibly could. And that is a good thing. That's a good sentiment to have. But no, Sacred Mother comes to the mother, and the mother carries the child. The mother, has to buy the different clothes. The mother has to begin the whole lactation process. The mother has to give the birth. How many guys out there are anxious to give birth to a baby, which you can look at as well, I'll just leave the comparison. But it's a difficult process in most cases, if not all. And this difficult process is not only a gift to divine feminine, for divine feminine, but it's also a gift of proceeding. I'm trying to find the terms here. As it's an equal sharing, but people have different jobs. So the woman has a very specific job. The male has a very specific job to provide for that woman as she's within the gestation, as the birth process is being given. And so, to the logical linear mind, it does not look like a 50-50 process. And of course, in the beginning stages of Kundalini, with all the mention of Sacred Mother this, Sacred Feminine that, Shakti this, Shakti that, you don't hear a lot of, Sacred Shiva, Sacred Father's doing this, Sacred Father's doing that. Sacred Father kind of takes a step back and allows Sacred Mother to be in a level of appreciation that is not common in our society right now. So I have to tell you, I support a lot of these women coming forward and exposing some of these guys that are doing some fairly nefarious things. And these are things that don't have a huge spiritual context. They do have the context of power and control over other people in a non-spiritual context. And so, there are certainly lessons to be learned, and the men are learning that right now, and so are the women. I won't be surprised if this movement, this whatever they're calling it, they got a bunch of names for it. But this movement could literally lead to a female president. I don't know about next term, but I think it's getting closer and closer and closer. So there's that. I wanted to talk to you about that. And I also wanted to talk to you. I didn't sleep much last night at all. I was just like, oh my God. I had a lot of things occurring here with me, my Kunalini, and death of loved ones and things like that. But the one thing that I was given last night during my session with Sacred Feminine was the ability to dismantle specific forms of weaponry that are produced by the human being with permission of the Shakti. Just little tiny things like just disconnecting the electrical input from a computer board on board of an ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, or just little things like that. Basically saying, hey, I will give you guys and gals, human beings, the opportunity to completely destroy yourself, but I won't give you the opportunity to destroy this planet. You want to shoot yourself to kingdom come, fine. Go ahead, shoot yourself, blow yourself up, do whatever you need to do. I love y'all. But you're not going to screw it up for the cetaceans or for the insects or for other mammals and all the other levels of creation that are also on this world striving within their own evolutionary process. People have this egotism that says, well, because we're bipedal and we have this kind of brain mass and we do this and we make tools and we watch TV. Well, maybe not that part, but we're the most evolved species on this world. And then of course you have the Christian context coming in. They're stewards of the land, and of course, you look. All you need to do is look at Monsanto, genetically engineered life forms, and you can see the great steward qualities that human beings have. ensconced in the competition for power over each other, power over the environment, and the greed of wanting to have more than the next person. And so the stewardship is really kind of faulty. But this is allowed. This is egotism, and this is what we're refining out of. But I was given vivid understandings about how easy it is to just disrupt an electrical connection. That's all it would take. One wire, one circuit, one little thing to be done anywhere on the world, anywhere. And so I want to put that out there for you and see what you think about that and what intensive purposes that would have. And it's basically it's about not radioactivating the entire planet. If the human species wants to destroy itself, fine. But don't mess with the evolutionary process of a praying mantis, okay, or a dolphin, or any kind of species that is actively within its own evolutionary process, which is almost all species. Anyway, so there we have it. And once again, I'd like to welcome everybody here to the program, including the people that are calling in the future, the archive people. Hello, people in the archive. Good to see you. Good to see your potentials as well. And I'm and some people may be having a problem with hearing here in the chat room, but it looks like it's okay. Good to see you, Cole, and Alana Seeker, and David, Michelle, Tanjira, and welcome, Yueki Homo, I guess is what that is pronounced. Okay. All right now I'm going to introduce the strange woman who has called in, and the queen of questionable comforts of the Celtic dispositions, Her Holiness Satara Kundalini. Hello. Oh, I think she has gone. She probably fell asleep. My monologue here. Well, this is fine. We can work. So when you're within your Kundalini activation, I think it's going to be very important for you to look at what you're doing to support sacred feminine within you, support the decisions that she's having you contemplate. Whether you're male or female doesn't matter. Sacred mother for all genders, all two genders, or even the in-between genders, the hermaphroditic and whatnot. And so as you receive these instructions, how do you implement these instructions within society? What level of ego do you have to let go of? What level? I mean, basically, you're born into a society, and most of you are going to be born into the Western technological society, whether you're from India or China or Europe or North America, South America, Australia. Technology is a worldwide phenomenon right now. And this technology and the information that it sponsors and the societal programming that it sponsors, well, that programming is still fairly dedicated to anti-feminism. Well, certainly anti-feminism that is emasculating. To have the women do the same thing that the men have been doing for 2,000 years is more of a get-back, revenge-oriented scenario. And I don't see her supporting that. But I do see her supporting the sacred Shakti. I see her supporting the rise of femininity into 50% of the equation. And I do support that. So within that context, where do you allow yourself to express levels of equanimity between the genders within your Kundalini? So, I'm going to assume that you have activated Kundalini or you have awakened Kundalini, and somewhere in between. or you're interested in Kundalini, and where do you find equality within the expression of sacred male, sacred female? Where do you find your 50%, whether you're male or female? Your 50% of the equation. You see, that's the key figure here, that we're discussing right now in contemporary times. Women are waking up that it's not okay to be abused by somebody. And, and it's basically a refutation of the law of the jungle, where the strong dominate. The strong dominate. But if you look at some of the participants in the law of the jungle, so for instance, the lioness, well, she'll take on the lion any day of the week if that lion's going after her cubs. Same with the mother bear. Okay, these are very important things to understand. It's not all about power and size. It's also about the natural processes of sacred femininity within the law of the jungle. The procreative aspect and the defense of reproductive rights within the animal kingdom is very, very, very profound. You don't want to mess with a mother whatever. I remember I was forced to kill rats in a trailer that I was property managing, and I refused to kill them. I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to kill them. And so I would live trap them, and then I would drive them somewhere else and let them go, right? Well, it just so happened as one day that I trapped a pregnant rat, and she gave birth inside the cage, and of course, the babies didn't make it, and she was very upset. And I took her to the place that I like to release the rats, and I released her. And she jumped out of the cage, and then about 2 feet away from me, she turned around and she looked right at me, and she went up and she attacked the cage. She gave it one swift, really strong bite with her teeth, and then she scampered off into the underbrush. And I could see that, that bite was in defense of her, her reproductive rights to have the continuation of her species. And that bite was the Shakti basically telling me that you, human, you don't think that you can just go ahead and obliterate my species. Absolutely not. I don't care how big you are, I'll come up and bite you. I was lucky she didn't bite me. Rats can be very, very fast. They can be very, very aggressive in certain ways. But she didn't bite me. She bit the cage, and she bit the whole situation, basically saying, man, this is a really screwed situation. I'm not happy about it at all, and I'm going to let you know my displeasure about this. I don't care if you're the size of an elephant. And so, that spoke to me loud and clear of the necessity to first of all, not to kill them. I felt trapping was the best way to go with it. But even with the trapping, the last thing I knew that I was going to trap a pregnant female, and there it was, there it happened, and so Shakti let me know. And so as we're coming into this, and all the movie stars are going after one producer or another actor, or the actresses are really, really, really lining up to search out and destroy the reputations of men who have basically done as they have been programmed to do. Not all men do that, but a lot of men, when they're given, really strong levels of power, will gravitate towards strong levels of corruption. But let's not forget some of the responsibility for this too. People are given strong levels of temptation by discarnate sources to do certain things, and that I'm not excusing their behavior, but I'm trying to look at the entire picture here rather than just the mundane results of the activities that are going through. Within a Kundalini context, you've got to look at the whole picture, and the whole picture does include discarnate activity and also the programming of society. Men have been hurting women in these ways for thousands and thousands of years because of the might is right understanding. Since I'm stronger than you and I can force you to do something, well, then that's okay. You know, for many, many, many years, even into this century, women are referred to as the weaker sex. You know, and I look at Anara, the German Shepherd, standing up right now. She's like this huge, thinking, yeah, right, weaker sex. It's the weaker sex that gives the birth. I mean, it's the weaker sex that holds the child, raises the child. I mean, I can just go on and on and on about this. Femininity is not weak, never has been. It's only through the mind of aristocratic Victorian standards that would promulgate such an ideology as weak femininity. Okay. And within that understanding, it's just a program. It's just a program that reaches out into the populations and is regenerated year after year, century after century. You can see in many of the religious institutions, the Catholic Church, Mormonism, you know, various Christianity groups, you know, where you know the man is the head of the family. The man makes all the really important decisions. And everybody else just kind of follows his command. What do you know of any religion that places women in equal standing, equal footing with the masculine? Many of the five great religions, you know, even Buddhism does it, you know, is very, very skewed towards masculine leadership. How many sacred women do you find within Buddhism? Not that many. I mean, you have people like Pema Chandran and other people that are there, but they're quite rare. They're quite. You don't have a lot of female adepts within Buddhism either. Nor do you have. I think there are a little more in the Hindu series. You know, and shamans, of course, shamans can be male or female, and basically the nice thing about shamanism is it's more based upon what you can do rather than what your gender is. If you can heal the tribe, then we don't care what gender you are. We just need those healings. Okay, so there we have it. I'm going to go ahead and see if there's anybody here that has a question. And this is the first one I'm going to go to here. And hello, caller. You are on the air with Chrism. Your area code is 720934. Hello.
Hello, Master President.
Oh, wait a minute. For some reason, you need to get your mouth right up to that microphone and speak up.
Hello.
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm good, Master. How are you?
And do you have a question today?
No, just listening.
Listening to this program. Well, you go right ahead. Continue to listen. And I'm going to check on over here in the chat room. And it looks like people are having some issues with the sound coming through. Got some new people here. But there's not really too much I can do with that right now. I do recommend that people refresh it and make sure that they turn up their volume, and make sure that if you're going to ask a question, if you're on the phone here and you're going to ask a question, that you ask the question loud and clear. Now let's see. it's good to see some of our regulars here. All right. Typically, at this time, I would have Amelia come on and give her representation. I really wanted to hear her side of this too, because she's a mother, 6 children and the whole bit, and how does the Irish culture resonate with sacred femininity, and the little that I know of Irish culture is that first of all, the Irish island is a very, very interesting place. It's got some of the most prolific amounts of sacred shrines and sacred sites and temples and things that people don't even know about. And they have an oral history. It's called the history of the Four Masters, and boy, does it really go into how things have been created, certainly on that island. But I can also see that same creation extending outward from that one space, that one island, into other continents and other islands over the world. It's very, very, very positive. And really, I can see that as a direct affront to the Darwinian theories of evolution, but also the theories that science likes to put out there that formulate a certain programming about how this world came together and how lakes and rivers were formed and things of this nature. It's very, very, very interesting in the Irish. And I recommend that anybody has an interest in these areas to read the Four Masters for the oral history of the Irish. It's fascinating. And so I was wondering, because there are still a lot of vestiges of a pre-Druidic shamanistic practices within the Irish community there, and it would be very, very good to get her take on this. We'll have to wait until she comes back on the show. If she does, I don't know. I think this is more of an internet issue with her. She's just having a hard time finding a good internet signal that she can come in on. So I'm just going to continue with this. So along the lines of the sacred feminine and the appreciation of sacred feminine, this leads us into Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman as a representation of sacred feminine. Wonder Woman as an embodiment of the goddess of sacred femininity. And this leads us to the program, or the movie came out just within the last 6 months of, called Wonder Woman, and all that it is speaking of with regards to the goddess phenomena that is becoming more and more prominent on this world right now. But it also takes us back, because they mentioned the Amazons quite strongly. And the Amazons were an actual more than a few tribes of warrior women who traveled between the Holy Land and the Black Sea area, Black Sea or Caspian Sea, and they actually settled on the shore of one of those seas, and they were an actual viable society, a matriarchal society to be sure, but they were able to defend themselves for, I think 700-800 years as a viable society that had at the very least, 5 different tribes located in that area of the Middle East. And these tribes set up communities. I mean, they actually had communities. They had a governing structure, which of course was female-dominated, and they defended themselves against male antagonists. And they defended themselves, and they would win. Now, eventually, when kingdoms became greater and bigger, the Amazons in this part of, I guess, Mesopotamia were surrounded by several kings and completely destroyed. I mean, every man, woman, and child within those communities were destroyed. And so that effectively ended the existence of the Amazons, just like the Sabians, Sabians, the Sabians, same way. They were a very specific society. They had very specific metaphysical understandings and temples and worships, and they had a rise and a fall, and part of that fall was just being completely wiped out. So that the only testament of their existence were the architecture and some writings carved into stone. With the Amazons, it was even less. And so this level of knowledge built up through the centuries, and one of the voyagers, one of the Catholic priests that came with the conquistadors and sailed up the Amazon River in South America, and when they came around a certain bend in the river, and they were completely attacked by a group of Indians that were not just men, but they were men and women, and the fiercest fighters of that tribe were the women. The women were the captains. This is where the name the Amazon River came from, because he put that into his writings. He put that into his biography of what occurred, and the conquistadors were really good for that. The priests were really good for taking very, very accurate notations of what had occurred, and I forget the name of this father, but I think you can look it up on the internet anyway. This was a real thing that really happened, and I think he's the one that coined the term the Amazons, in this river, and it became the Amazon River. And so sacred femininity does have her brutal side. Let's talk to anybody that's going through Kundalini activation, where the kriyas are coming, or the extreme emotional upwellings are coming, or the extreme degradation of the societal programming that a person may be having is coming. Well, this can be pretty wild stuff, and if you resist it, it will hurt you. It will hurt you. And it's not that she's hurting you. It's just like you want to touch the hot stove, and she's keeping your hand from touching the hot stove. But you want to touch the hot stove, but she's keeping your hand from touching the hot stove that you want to do it. Not going to let you do it. She's not going to let you burn yourself, because she knows the quality of your intellect with regards to Kundalini. Now, people will have different levels of understanding what the Sacred Mother is telling them to do. Okay. People that have had Kundalini in other lifetimes will have a greater level of surrender, than another person, perhaps, of what it is to surrender to the Sacred Mother's instructions for you. And this is something that must be acknowledged, because, past lives with the experience, with the Kundalini experience, do matter, because the Kundalini does travel with you. Once it's activated, once it's awakened within a person, it follows you from life to life to life to life to life, until there is no reason for you to take any more lives. Okay, there is no more reason for that. And so it follows you this way. And so a person that has had Kundalini in another life, well, it's not as difficult. I don't know how to say that. Because I came into this world with Kundalini symptoms from the get-go, and it's not so easy to be transported to an Amazon jungle every night throughout your childhood years, from 0 to 13. You get transported every night, and you're beset with entities and all manner of phenomena every single night, every single day. And I would see the floating suns I remember walking down the hallway of the house we were living in Woodland, California, and at 77 Buckeye Street. So if anybody's around there want to investigate, that house is still there. And I was walking down the hall And I looked into my uncle's room, and it was dark in there, and I was about 6. And way off into the corner of the room, I saw a brilliant diamond-like floating sun. I call it a floating sun now, but before that, I did not know what it was. And it started spiraling towards me, and I was just so not interested in having that conversation. I immediately left the hall and went over to do something else. But I remember the incident quite well. So, yeah, I see that Santara has rejoined us. She finished doing what she needed to do, finding a good signal. I'm going to bring you on here, my dear. We're talking, Santara, about the dietary nutrition of McDonald's foods and its interaction with Kundalini awakened individuals. What's been your
cool. Thing? That could keep you going. That could keep you going for a while. Got bumped off by my Skype, actually, I think. Not BlogTalk. I got bumped off by Skype, not BlogTalk.
I can hardly hear you, Santara.
1 second.
Are you eating the mic?
Okay, is that better?
Well, I guess it's a little better. I mean, you must have done something. I'm going to plug in some headphones. Maybe it's just me. So go ahead. What are you doing? Just a second here. All right.
Okay, is this better?
I'm trying to get a headset on here because I can't hear. Everybody.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to assume I'm being heard okay, and I will give people. I'm going to go over to the chat room. If you can't hear me, guys, let me know. Now type something in. But while I'm waiting for that, I'll give you the place you can go to if you would like to make a donation to support the work that Chrism does. You can go to www.chrism-kundalini, or you can go to www.chrism, or you can go KundaliniSafeties.com. And I can be heard okay, so that's good, Chrism. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you through the computer, but not through my headphones yet. It's a Logitech
Okay,
thing.
well, okay. And also there's a Yahoo. If you have PayPal, you can actually use Chrism's email address, and that is it? Can you say what it is, Chrism? I haven't it in front of me. Hello.
Let me tap dancing here all this time. I want you to tap dance right now.
Well, okay, that's what I've been doing. So Chrism has a PayPal account as well, and later on when he comes back and I've stopped tap dancing, he will tell you what his Yahoo email address is, because the PayPal is probably the easiest and most convenient way of making a donation if you're in a position to do that. So that's about it, Chrism. Are you back?
Oh, you can do more tap dancing than that, please. Come on.
But typically, I speak to people. Typically, I speak to people at this point about seminars in Minnesota and various other places. So I would say that as far as I know, the next seminar is coming up in Germany, unless there's one coming up in the meantime in Denver and Colorado. I know that Mohan is looking at that, and he has mentioned March, April. So, but as of now, Germany is the next seminar, and that is happening at the end of May, the last weekend in May. And as I'm typing this and tap dancing, I'm flying over to see. So that will be on the 26th and 27th of May. And the person to get in contact with there is Manisha Manish, and she is on Facebook. I don't have her email address right now, but just go over to Facebook and put in Manisha Manish. And you can also go to Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. She doesn't have information up there yet, but you will find her email address from previous seminars and you can contact her. I know that numbers are restricted because of the venue. It's going to be an intimate and small gathering. So there are people who are already booking in. So if you're interested, please do get in contact with Manisha as soon as possible. Are you back?
Well, I'm just listening. Go ahead.
So Chris is
earlier,
now going to give you his email.
Oh,
Yeah?
my PayPal thing?
Yes, please. So if you've PayPal, you only have to click into the Yahoo your email address. So that's what you need to give, please, Chrism.
It's CHRISM ITCHELL369 at yahoo.com, I believe.
Okay, Chris Mitchell 9 at yahoo.com. Brilliant.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
And Chrism, you have a question there if you wish to go over to it.
All right, here we go.
Or do you want? Yeah.
No, I'll go ahead and that is. Hello, caller. You're with Chrism. How are you?
Hello, Master Chrism. This is Mohan here.
Mohan, how are you?
I am good, Master. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So is Nara. Nara knows that you're here. All right. Go ahead.
So my question is regarding the gift that you get along with your Kundalini awakening. Generally, people say different people get different gifts. I was curious to know what your gift was, if you can talk right now about that.
My gift. I didn't have just one gift. I had a whole suite of gifts, not just one.
Can you mention some of them?
Problem with that is it borders on self-aggrandizement, and that's a big no-no when it comes to Kundalini. You don't get to purposefully separate yourself in a formation of, oh, I've got this gift and you don't type of scenario. Okay. And that's obvious. That's an opportunity that I typically don't try to partake of. But the one thing that I am being given permission to say is that I have been given multiple gifts from the Kundalini. Many of them counter the laws of physics, bilocation times a trillion, which people really kind of go, what do you mean bilocation times a trillion? I've been given to have scatter fields that can be directly tied into my Kundalini, and for every cell in the body, the potential person that cell can become is also activated and awakened. So I have a community of anywhere from 17 to 26 trillion chrisms that are continuously present within the Kundalini expression that I have, and those consciousness can be sent to other people for Shaktipat, for healing, for various reasons that the Kundalini decides, and that's a strong gift, whether people realize it or not. That can do that can initiate what I was talking about earlier with regards to interrupting electrical signals. Another gift is to look at a body through, in other words, like make the skin disappear, or make the bones disappear, or see through the different systems, or a very site-specific system of the body. And that is something that the Kundalini also provides, as well as
remotely?
astral. Yeah. So
can you look at
oriented.
a person remotely? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. She looks at the person remotely. Chrism does not. Chrism's Kundalini does. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And so, I could just go on and on and on with the different levels of gifts that I've been given, but, it's just, what does that prove to anybody else? I mean, I can't prove to anybody beyond a reasonable doubt, from a scientific perspective, that I can do any of these things unless I fly in front of them. And I was also given insights on that last night as well as, demonstrating certain types of gifts for the general public, which would only serve to frighten them.
Yeah.
Seriously, if you watch a person demonstrating telekinesis, for instance, that room is going to empty really fast. You laugh, but people always want to see the magician, and those they want to say, oh, how did he do that? Where's the mirror? Where's the smoke? They don't want to come into the understanding that it's a real deal and that people have this. They want to rely on their comfortable scientific understandings and the scientific rule of the life. And if somebody's up there, showing a definite refutation of scientific supremacy, well, then this comes into a very, very, very unknown area, and it can awaken a primal fear in a person. Like this guy could just throw me into the ceiling. Then you go to Hollywood, and Hollywood is showing these paranormal powers given to people in a very, very realistic way. And so there's a kernel of truth that a person could have these powers, even if it's just fantasy, right? And typically they're used in a good versus evil format, but the evil parts, usually put up a pretty good fight. And so those seeds of fear and doubt are inserted into people in various ways, and they become extremely fearful when they see it outside of a movie theater.
Yep.
So, I would recommend nobody demonstrate Kundalini symptoms or Kundalini cities or gifts to the general public. I think that would be a huge mistake. And the first thing you know is the government's going to come knocking on your door going, hey, how do you feel about dissection?
I watched that movie Phenomenon after you mentioned. And the same thing happened over there.
Exactly. That's exactly right. They portrayed it very well. I mean, they actually were light with it. They didn't get into the dissection aspect like would really happen.
Right.
They would put you in some sort of a metal cage and, give you various volts of electricity just to see what you did. Hey, can you stop this? Zap. Or gosh, what? Let's have a look at his pineal gland.
Right. You'll become into a guinea pig for them.
Right. Well, not a willing one, that's for sure. We'd be reduced to a rhesus monkey or a cat, dog, rat, or mouse. And so it's a real strong mistake. But the thing is you've got to have, and I was shown this last night as well, if you're going into a demonstration of psychic ability based upon your Kundalini compelling you to do that, well, you must trust the Sacred Mother that she will protect you against all levels of harm and hurt that a fearful society would want to give to you. And she showed me. She showed me how that can occur. I mean, so for instance, if you scare somebody, it's just so weird that I'm coming right out of these visions that I had last night. If somebody is so frightened of you because you have Kundalini and you're able to demonstrate these gifts, they just want to kill you. They want to kill you because you're obviously, satanic or Irish, or some other kind of, really strong personality.
Yep.
They'll try to shoot you. They'll shoot you on stage wherever you're speaking. And the Shakti showed me. She said, "Yeah, they can try to shoot you till the cows come home, but I won't let it work." She's not gonna throw them against the wall or anything, levitate them and throw them against the wall. They're gonna click on that bullet, and that bullet's just not gonna ignite. And they can click all they want, and they can pull that trigger back, snap, pull that trigger back, snap, pull the trigger back, snap, and none of the bullets are working. They're going, "What the heck? How many misfires can I have in one load?"
Yeah.
Okay, and that'll just keep on happening. So she really gave me some lessons last night. She had me on a program like Jimmy Kimmel. Is there somebody named Jimmy Kimmel on late night talk show, or Jimmy somebody? And I know that he has a child that has a problem, has a very, very difficult heart issue. And it was suggested to him to bring the child on the show and for everybody to witness a healing of that child's issue and how that would really begin to change societal perception of Kundalini, et cetera, and so forth. So that's kind of what happened, what I was given last night. And there are very specific protocols. And Mohan, you don't ever take these lightly. You don't turn your sacred femininity, your sacred Kundalini gifts and skills into a sideshow or a circus. Given the opportunity to initiate a caring, compassionate response through your special skills that come with Kundalini, well, that's perfectly okay. And one of these skill sets is like dragging people out of harm's way at an automobile accident or something like that, or lifting a car, to free a person that may be trapped under it. That's perfectly okay. You just don't go around going, "See, everybody, I lifted the car. Worship me now."
I believe is like if you try to misuse any of your power, that power will be taken away from you. That's what I believe.
Yes, you'll be shown how you're being irresponsible, or on another level with that, Mohan, is she'll let you misuse that power, and then you'll pay the karma for misusing that power.
Right.
And some of that karma comes in this life. And part of that karma could be dissection. if you're misusing it. I'm only half joking because these are very, very, very strong powers, and they will enjoy a very, very, very strong karma for your misuse of these powers.
Right.
A very strong karma. Wow, I hear you so well with these headphones on. I'm very grateful.
So I have one more question about my Kundalini.
All right.
These days, when I'm trying to sleep and doing that tongue up and eyes up thing among the safeties, what I feel is like my Kundalini is raising slowly until the heart area, and it's going back, raising, going up, raising and going back, and I feel like something is stuck in the middle of my spine, where I feel like some blockage is there, which is not it's being painful. I don't know if a massage or something will relieve the pain.
Well, let's see. So it's between the fourth and the third, and it's an expansion pain is what it is for you. And you just have to really, I would have you do some stretches. I'd have you do some yoga stretches. I would have you do some very gentle spinal twisting. As far as massage goes, if you have a massage person that you like to go to, I'd have you fly out to Ireland and have Amelia give you a massage. I think that would be, probably the best thing. But, I don't know if you could do that with a wife and children at home. So
right.
Maybe fly her out to Denver. I'm sure she's willing to go.
Will she be able to come to the seminar in April?
I don't know. I know that she's coming to Germany. Well, let's talk with her about that. Bring yourself into the red, my dear. You are?
Okay.
Here she is.
Here I am. Uh-huh. So is it happening in March or April, I should say?
I'm looking at the 28th and 29th of April after talking to Master Chrism, and I'm trying to figure out feasibility of locations.
Okay, so that's wonderful. That's wonderful, Mohan. Will I be able to come the 28th and 20th? I'm not sure. In my heart, I'm coming all right. Whether I can actually get on a plane and come, I don't know. It's costly. So possibly not. But I never say never. I was in Minnesota recently, and who knows?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I'm delighted. Yeah. Well, keep us posted then, because that means the next seminar is possibly going to be Denver, Colorado, before Germany.
The mile
what's
high
the weather like?
Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm trying to make it possible on those dates.
Oh, excellent.
Well, I appreciate all the effort you're putting into this, Mohan. Absolutely.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And I appreciate the excellent questions that you just asked as well, because they tied right in to the teachings that were given to me last night. So thank you again for that.
I don't know why I asked that question. It came.
Well, it's interesting because that's what I was. I had kind of forgotten some of those questions or some of those issues that she was showing me last night, because I've had a lot of activity around here lately, various kinds of activity, and your question really brought that back. Really brought it back. I was literally on some talk show, and I was levitating an orange, and I was slicing the orange within the levitation, and it was frightening everybody to pieces. And they were either really frightened, or they were going, "Oh, that's some sort of TV CGI type of thing." And I was asking my chakra, so how can we differentiate the real deal from CGI? And she says, well, that will take place no matter what. So, yeah. I was also levitating instruments from the band as a demonstration and bringing them over to the talk show's desk. Something happened with the talk show host as well. The Kundalini through me looked into him and pulsed itself through my eyes into his eyes, and it literally brought him to his knees in worship and devotion of the sacred Shakti, and that's something else that occurred on TV in a live television type of scenario. So who knows what's going to happen in the near future? Here's the thing, Mohan, that you want to understand, though, regarding the sacred gifts. It's not just one way. I mean, she'll give you a sacred gift, and she will use that gift through you, and then, maybe never use it again for the rest of your life. In other words, you're like a palette of different paints that the Shakti can use, different colors. You know what a palette is?
Yes.
So the artist, goes into like the red and, puts red on the canvas, and then goes over to the blue, puts blue on the canvas, that type of thing. And she uses us that way, and she gives us special skills if our energetics can support it. And those skills will be given into our mundane environment at the will of the Shakti, not so much at our own personal desires.
And there must be a purpose for that.
there's always a purpose for it. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. She knows the purpose. She'll probably give you or the Kundalini person an idea of why she's doing this, what's going on. And for people to ask of an explanation, you saw the film Phenomena and you saw him moving the pencil with the hand, right?
Right.
So, she may do that. Move the coffee cup with the hand, the coffee cup that's on the TV show's host on his desk, and just moving that back and forth, or maybe turning it upside down, right side up, upside down, right side up. And just give people a very gentle understanding and awakening of what is possible with the Kundalini. And she may just do that as well. It doesn't have to be bombastic.
Right.
But she can do anything on this world. Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely anything. And she can basically give you a power and then take it away, and give you another one and take it away. So I'm saying, okay, for the past 10 years, I've been given the power of bilocation in the trillions. And so I remember one time I was told I could Shakti pot a stadium of people, thousands and thousands of people at the same time because of that. And, until I get a stadium of people, we'll never know. But she controls it. She is She is in control of all the sacred skills that any Kundalini person has.
Right. Okay.
All right. Hey, thank you for calling in, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Master.
Shiva Blue, coming over to Mr. Bo. Oh, Bo, you're on the air with Chrism, and you have a question. How may I help you?
Yes. So I went through an activation, spontaneous activation, spring of last year, and
congratulations.
Yeah. It's quite the process. I just didn't really understand anything about. I knew the word term, but I just really not. I had no idea. So, but what I experience now is continuous, movement. As I still don't know a lot about this process. I've studied some of Gopi Krishna's work, which has been very helpful. But anyway, I feel the motion of my spiritual body continuously, especially so in meditation. But just generally sitting about, or as I'm thinking about it, if I think about a particular chakra, I can feel its immediate motion. And I don't understand what's happening in my body.
You're going through a transformation, and when you like you say, when you think of, like, say, the third chakra, and all of a sudden you'll feel like a vibration or a spinning of the third chakra, and she's very gently bringing you into a level of awareness that, hey, this is okay, and how important it is to have mindfulness, to begin to understand that where you direct your thought is where you direct your energy. And where you direct your thought is where she will very often bring her presence into what it is you're thinking about, to really begin to change the level of perception that you have about thoughts and about mindfulness, and to bring in levels of true focus on things like surrendering completely to the Kundalini, surrendering your egocentrisms in the way you think and what you think of to the Kundalini, and to really motivate you to go into the higher levels of expression, the noble behaviors. So, for instance, going into levels of tolerance if you're in an intolerant situation, of love, when you're in a loving situation, which should be most of the time. That will happen. That will be one of the big gifts of your life. To bring yourself into levels of surrendering your logical linear mind to the to the grace that is flowing within you. And she's going to kind of tear down that logical linearism. I'm sure that you've already felt that.
May I say it's just been it's been such a powerful feeling. It's changed my life completely. It's so compelling. Everything is so tactile. Everything is so
beautiful.
There's words.
It's beyond words, really.
And I've experienced a lot of some of the other symptoms, such as the isolation. It's almost like there was a point in my life in the last where it just, if I was a magnet, I was a matter of the repelling force, and as if the Kundalini energy was pushing things away from me, so that I was in a proper environment where this could happen. So
exactly.
In terms of part of what is a bit confounding right now is I experience these gifts, and then I experience the sheer tremendous power. But I also am going through that stage that people that were close to me are no longer close to me. My own family members can't understand. I've been a bit of a nomad for the last, year, not really fitting in here, fitting in there.
That's a very true thing, and it's the same. I've had this for 28 years, and just in this body, and I don't have much of a rapport with my family. As you heard, I have a good rapport with my mother because she accepts me no matter how strange I am. But my brothers and sisters and their kids, not really. And then, if they go online and they read what I've written or what people have written about me, and they just kind of go, whoa, boy, he's really kind of out there. Very different from the society that they're being programmed by. And this creates a level of isolation from mundane ideology, from the thoughts of the activated or the unactivated, the unawakened. And so it also brings you into a compelling for the fellowship of people that do have this. And I want to welcome that to you, Bo. If you should like to have it, or she'll let you have it. If you're on Facebook, go to a group called Kundalini Awakening ! And allow yourself to be with people like you. If you're on Facebook.
Yeah,
and if
I am. It's a perilous process. And it's
Facebook?
One is I understand that the activation. It's beautiful. But it's tragic at the same time. It's perilous. It's yeah.
Are you able to have work? Are you able to be employed?
I'm not currently right now. I trade cryptocurrencies.
Well, then you should be doing all right now.
Well, I had a lesson to learn that was given to me from the energy, and we went through that lesson last year. So I'm recovering in many ways.
So it was a harsh lesson.
It was a beautiful lesson, but it was received initially very harshly.
Yeah, an expensive lesson.
There was my understanding about money and value completely shifted and changed, and now I know things that I didn't even know were possible to know.
Exactly. Wow, that's really good, Bo. That's really good. And I salute you. I can feel the level of respect that you have for this process. I mean, not that you have much of a choice in that, but I feel it, and I feel your, the level of truth that you're speaking with. And I just want to really welcome you into this process and into a further level of surrender. You might start looking into devotion, Bo. devotion would be a good next step for you to really bring you into a level of acceptance and alignment and understanding and appreciation of what grace is bringing you at this time. So have a look into that if you so choose, or if she resonates with that. She should be telling you right now. Does she resonate with you doing that?
Well, I don't, to be perfectly honest, I don't really even know what you mean by devotion. I know so very little about
this. Well, she knows all about it. So ask her right now. I'll wait.
I'm being told that I need to pursue my happiness. It's time for me to start asking for what I want.
What do you want?
I want to be in the best possible environment to continue to let this process evolve.
How is your environment right now?
Well, I went through a divorce, a very long-term marriage, and I went to stay with my father for a bit. That was okay for a while, and then I went to I had an intuitive hit, which I've really never had any intuition that I rely upon, but something was telling me to go to the Las Vegas area, and that's where my activation happened. I was there for a while, and then I came to stay with my sister, and I'm only going to be here through Saturday, so I really don't even know past Saturday, but I think that's part of my trust that I have to build.
Do you have access to any kind of funding at all?
I mean, I have some money. I don't have a
If
lot
I
of
were
money.
you, and this is just something that I'm just going to put out there for you, it's what I'm seeing for you, is I would get a medium-sized travel trailer and something that can pull it. And I would just cruise the United States in different areas and check out the different environments, go down into Oregon, or Arizona, New Mexico, up into Oregon, Washington State, go into Colorado, go into Wyoming, go into these areas that don't have these really, really large populations. But you could also go into a populated area like LA if you wanted. But just to do that for a little while, and you'll always have your home with you. You'll always have your meditation space with you. You'll always have your privacy with you. But you just won't be a brick and mortar type of thing. That's kind of what I'm seeing for you right now.
Well, the thing it is, I mean, I've always been given exactly what I need when I need it. It was given that I would always have some level of comfort, and I would always be safe.
Right.
And I don't know, man.
Maybe
I'm so thankful that you are here, because I've tried to talk about this with some people, even in the spiritual walk, and they I don't know how many people have this kind of experience, because it's not as common as the New Age people like to think. I mean, they think they can go fly down to India and go visit some, television evangelist version of Hinduism and raise their hand, receive a Shaktipat, and they're awakened. And well, they're not. They're certainly not going through what you're going through, but they kind of spread that around that they are. And and so it kind of muddies the water for those of us who are actually going. So it's still not as common as you might, as the New Age people would make you think, but it is. And nor am I trying to imply it's something, it is something special. I'm not trying to imply that I'm special that I received this. It's really
well, you are. I think it's special that you received this. And I'm not trying to build your ego. Not trying to build your ego, but it's a statement of fact. You're very special, and you need to understand that. And if she's telling you to ask for some things that make you happy, or to pursue some happiness for yourself, well, I would definitely begin that process.
I think that's the new stage of where I'm going, because I've been focused on really just, once this happened, I just jumped in with both feet and just started going with it. And
well, you don't have much of a choice with that. That was a good move on your part.
You don't have much choice. Oh my gosh, that's the funniest part. It's irreversible.
I'm curious. How did you even find out about this program? Did she compel you to look?
No. I was really emotional. Yes, in a way. I Googled Kundalini and suicide, and not that I wasn't feeling suicidal. It's just even that you're going through a push-pull process, and like you were saying earlier, you're taking like cataloging through all your life events, and you get a chance to relive them and compare and contrast to how you were then as opposed to now, and it's just a beautifully tragic process. And I was just in an emotional state, and you just feel that, can I just go home kind of feeling, and how much more of this to endure, And so I Googled that, and your video on YouTube came up, and then from YouTube I found the show, and I've been waiting for it. I found it a week ago, last Thursday, yeah. So I was very excited to.
Well, there are lots of videos there for you to partake of too, and I've got about 45, 50 hours. Wow. Okay. All right.
They bring me a lot of comfort.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad to hear that, and really feel free to partake of it. And you may not even hear the information; you just may feel the Shakti in the voice.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's prior to this, I was a typical construction worker. Had my own company for many, many years. And, this was not even in my
radar. Wasn't on your radar.
Yeah, at all. Yeah, it's just incredible.
Well, I can hear the integrity in your voice, and I can hear the Shakti in your voice as well, and you deserve this grace. I understand at this point. I mean, you're very early into the activation, so things will balance out for you, but they won't at the same time. I mean, you're climbing the mountain now, and as you climb the mountain, I mean, the views, increase in their beauty and their happiness and the joy that you can receive, but there's always further to go. And even, after 28 years, I'm still going further into it. She's showing me new things. She's showing me, how to decrease radioactivity in the ocean, how to do certain things that she wants to see done on this world, and stuff that you just don't really think about during your normal waking hours. But she's there. She's got an agenda, and you're her agenda. And I want to congratulate you, Bo, for handling this the way you have. And I understand it's been tumultuous with the divorce and with the company, the construction company, and having to liquidate, so to speak. And I understand that you feel like you're kind of like a dandelion seed on the wind right now, and the wind is blowing you here, it's blowing you there, and yet
that's exactly how I explained it to a friend yesterday. One of the very few friends that I mean those exact words I use.
That you still have. Yeah.
The dandelion in the wind.
Stage, it's good. It's good to have a fairly solitary existence. Matter of fact, she will sequester you.
Yes.
People have been. Yeah, right. They've been called out to where I live, and they've been, literally Shakti sets them up to be sequestered and to only have the one-on-one teaching, or they'll be just on the internet, and I'll work with them that way. They'll be sequestered. And on the other hand, they won't be allowed to be sequestered either. I mean, they will need to have active engagement with people in their society and their family and the whole bit. Typically, that family and that society is conducive to that person's equation within the Kundalini, and it's very helpful to them. And they typically will have a family that supports it. If not supporting it, I mean, actively having it themselves. Like I know Amelia, Centaur Kundalini, she has a family that is, I would have to say, 90% supportive of is that right, Centaur? Would you say? Uh-oh, did I lose her? Is she still here? Oh, yeah, here she is.
No, I'm still here. I was in the red. Yes, Chrism,
What?
that's true. That is true.
Just a second here. Just a second. Centaur?
Yes, Chrism? Can you hear me?
Would you say,
Oh.
Yeah, I can hear you. Would you say your family's about 90% supportive of your process?
Oh, they're very supportive of my process. Yeah, they are, of course. Now it's taken a while, and they wouldn't be supportive of everything, But yeah, they are very supportive. My children are. My husband certainly is. Yeah.
And at least 3 out of the 7 people that comprise your immediate family have Kundalini themselves. Yes.
Activating, yes, Chrism, they have.
Yeah.
It was given to me that I just was not going to be able to go through this process in that relationship, and
Exactly.
that it was just time for it to be over. And that actually probably brought me more peace about the. It's just crazy how the information comes and then immediately you understand, and it. Yeah, that just brought peace over my heart about the dissolution of that relationship.
Yeah.
And so, may I ask just one other question? At what point does fear become more easily managed? Is it just when you decide for it to be, or when you surrender? At this term of surrendering to the Kundalini, I really that hadn't been communicated to me as in such a clear way as I found in your site and some of your posts, and that I have to say that's been helping. When
the individual ego will never really surrender its fear. It will have to be retrained to surrender the primordial reflection and reflexivity of fear. But it's through the surrender. The more that you surrender to the Kundalini, the more you trust. The more you trust the Kundalini, the less fear is allowed to disrupt that equation.
Okay.
Surrender, really to it. That's the best path.
Yeah,
but don't think that it's going to be instantaneous. I mean, you're still going to have levels of fear, and these you need to have because you need to be able to work through the retraining of the ego. You see, we're not teaching you to kill the ego here.
Right.
We're teaching
we'll
you
never
to
do away entirely.
Right. So we train the inner child.
Partly it's the ego that got us here.
Right. Exactly. So we don't kill that inner child aspect of ourselves. We just retrain it like you'd retrain a 7-year-old. Okay. And it's the 7-year-old that will feel fear, but it's the higher psychological and spiritual aspects that will begin to tamper down that fear and to begin to embrace levels of clarity that inner child can receive.
Well, I'm very thankful that you do the work that you do because
Oh.
We need
All
those
thanks.
resources. We need
All
those
thanks.
resources.
All thanks go to Shakti. But thank you on behalf of Shakti. All right, Bo, I'm going to put you in a Shiva Blue here, and we'll move on to the next question. And here we go to Mr. Ishmael. Hello, Ishmael.
Hey, Chrism, how you doing?
Good, I'm doing well. How are you?
Feeling, I guess, content today. Pretty mellow, pretty calm, and pretty open-minded.
Good.
A lot better than some of the other days I've had.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it.
Thanks. I just had a question. It kind of sounds like our experiences is kind of more so like some of the chosen few. I understand, like, all of us have our Kundalini, but I guess it's like only some of us are being chosen to have our Kundalini and our experiences with them. It seems like the 4,400.
I was just going to say it's not that.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
It's not the 144,000. I believe that's the correct term. No, it's not that. It's there are millions of people that have their Kundalini activated and awakened. They just don't know what's going on, and typically they'll try to self-medicate, or they'll move to Ireland, which is a form of medication, or they'll. Sorry. Ireland is so beautiful. That's what I mean. Just mesmerized by the beauty there. Hi, Amelia.
Well, I was in the blue there, Ishmael. That's why you didn't hear me laugh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is for people that are chosen. People are actually chosen, but they're chosen before they even take the body. And so you can't really self-aggrandize about that chosen element. It's as if you're standing in line and you're going, okay, I've lived this life and that life and this life and that life, and now it's time for me to move into a next stage or area of life towards enlightenment. And this is the life I have to live. This is what I have to do to get there. These are the possibilities that will be offered to me while I'm doing this life, and this is what I do. So, are you washing dishes? What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
What?
I said, I'm sorry. I was probably me moving around.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you were in the bathtub or something. Something Amelia would do.
One day I'm going to get into the bathtub and I'm going to broadcast this show from my bathroom. I swear.
Just don't drop the phone. That's all I ask. So yeah, we're not part of the 144,000 that the Jehovah's Witnesses. They're kind of wrapped around that whole theme, and we're not really part of any kind of a competitive spiritual environment. Our numbers are far more than that, and our awareness is becoming really expanded by thanks to the internet, mostly I feel, but also by direct involvement of the Shakti itself, the Kundalini itself, into people's psychologies and into their radiance. And so as you or Bo or Mohan or Ishmael, Joey, David, you stand on a street corner, or you stand behind somebody in line at the grocery store, your radiance is reaching into them. Your radiance
Ishmael?
is reaching into them. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know.
That's
There's an
not
earthquake.
me.
Oh, there's a lot of noise or something? I can't hear it.
Yeah. Oh, I thought
sorry.
it was you, actually, because I don't move when I'm on red. That means when my mic is open, because if you make any movement, Ishmael, it's amplified, so you have to be really still.
Okay. Well, I just have one more question, and I'll put my phone on mute, and I'll listen.
Okay.
As far back as I can remember, I don't know what it really means, but there's only one dream that really stuck with me as far as, when I was a very young child, and it was like I was living this life, and there was something that happened within the world to where I had to get into the sewer or this underground bunker. And it was like some type of like nuclear blast or something to where I was trying to save myself or something. And it stuck with me for all my life. And I've always had this come in and out. And I can't remember any other dreams but that one.
I think that may tie in with what I was given last night as far as disarming nuclear warheads just by virtue of loosening a wire or loosening a connection or interrupting a signal. A lot of people understand that with Kundalini, there is definitely disruption with electrical devices. It's almost a given that that's going to occur. Have you had that happen, Amelia?
Chrism, I have.
And so have I. I cannot tell you the graveyard of laptops that I have in my room. I keep them all because, they're hard drive, but I have quite the extensive graveyard now. And this is something that tie-in to the disruption of electrical signal and the actual warpage of certain electrical components, popping a what do they call it? A solder, popping a solder on a motherboard, or popping a connection off of a circuit board. This is not beyond the Kundalini to be able to do that. Geez Louise, she can lift a car. Think about that. So it's not too far-fetched to see that. And if she can give herself in Shaktipat to you, I think you're on the East Coast, and wherever Bo is, I guess maybe near Las Vegas or Mohan in Denver, or even, way, way, way far out in Ireland, there's really not too much that she can't do. And you've got to understand that if you were given that premonition in a dream of going to ground, into the ground, in order to take yourself out of harm's way with a nuclear blast, well, I think that we may be coming into this area, with North Korea in our. I hesitate to call him a president, but with our with our great leader. Maybe leading us straight into that type of a pattern. Another reason to maybe avoid some populated areas.
Yeah, because it was actually very clear, the vision, the dream that I had, and it stuck with me all my life, and I've always had it come upon as far as my remembrances of that vision. But in regards to what you had just said, do you think that has a lot to do with as far as because lately I've been having a lot of machines, like all the scrubbers breaking down. My furnace at my house broke down 3 times in 2 weeks.
It could, yeah. I think that could be a possibility. But you want to also look at the what kind of workmanship is going into the repairs, what kind of components are wearing out naturally. Metal will always, if it's a moving parts will have a level of breakdown that is eventual. And if they're all breaking down at the same part or at the same time, it means that they were put together at the same time, and so a certain device being put together at the same time, if it's having those moving components, will obviously break down at the same time with all those moving components. And so, you got to look at this. It's like with the airplanes, they're all put together at the same time, and so the rivets that hold them together will start to be loosened at the same time, that type of thing.
Okay, I was just curious because I don't know, it just seemed to kind of weird how everything was just seemed like everything at the same time was all breaking down at home, at work.
Well,
and,
that's true. I have the same thing with my vehicles, man. My vehicles, geez Louise, I'm constantly looking for another car, constantly, because they break badly. And yeah, I think the Kundalini can definitely have a hand in that. It's like you're a how do I say it? You're an incredibly big fountain of power as you walk down the street. But then as you sit in your car and you saturate that car with levels of electrically disruptive power every day, all the time, for however, and it'll be dependent upon how the car is manufactured that will determine how long that car is going to last. So, for instance, I've had fairly good Apple products not breaking down under Kundalini duress. Right now, I'm on an Acer laptop, and because I saw that Centaura had an Acer laptop last time I was in Ireland, and except for the really huge cracked screen, it seemed to be working fine, even with the cracked screen. And so I thought, well, maybe that's something to look into. And so far, so good with this one. But they're both, I've got two laptops here, and they're both kind of new, and so we'll see how they last. I've already gone through one iPhone, and just, oh, my God. You want to be very careful about becoming dependent upon electronic items. I would teach that you want to be dependent on your Kundalini, number one, but number two, you want to go for a level of self survival like type of things. And it's what I was talking to Bo about is get that travel trailer and just get something on wheels that you can move at a moment's notice. And so if you do have that nuclear blast, and here on the west coast we've got 29 minutes to get out of the big if North Korea launches against us, and you can get into a safe place in 29 minutes. I know you may have to map out that route, and you may have to time it, and you may have to look for that tunnel or that sewage system that you have. Are you in Philadelphia? Is that where you are, Ishmael?
No, I'm actually in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. So yeah, you'd look. Boy, that gets cold up there, doesn't it? So you'd look for some underground bunker, as you're suggesting, and try to get your whole trailer down there, or some sort of a cave, or some sort of a scenario where you're not going to be exposed to the initial blast of radiation. Now, with Cleveland, I don't know what kind of military assets the United States has in the area of Cleveland, and whether that would become a target or not, I don't know. But I know that here on the West Coast, where I'm at, Santa Rosa, California, well, I'm just, I'm less than 100 miles away from San Francisco, less than 100 miles away from Travis Air Force Base, definite targets, and so if I know that something's coming, and often the Kundalini will warn you way before the 29-minute zone that you need to leave. She'll compel you to leave, and you better answer that compelling. And I'll hook up that little Dolphin trailer, and I'll be on the road, let me tell you. I'll be on the road, and I'll be heading, out into the wilderness and into an area that would be an effective shield for any kind of radioactive blast or dust or atmospheric event that would come down, that may be coming upon us. And so definitely everybody who's called and everybody on the chat room, make your little plan. Give yourself an escape route, and opening yourself to receiving the information earlier than your relatives or your friends or the general population, and let them call you crazy for hooking up that trailer and leaving town at a moment's notice. Let them call you crazy. Don't let your ego paralyze your ability to act. Okay? Thank you, Ishmael. Good to hear you again. Your phone's on mute, so I'll just go ahead and put you in the blue here and come on over here to the chat room and see if anybody's responded to those things. And would a Faraday cage around the electronic components work? No, because Kundalini isn't strictly electricity, Cole. Kundalini is like electrical plasmic. It's divine. Let's just put it that way. It's of a divine nature, and if it were purely electric, then I'd have to say yes, or signal worthy. But why would you do that to your Kundalini? I mean, think about what you're saying. Why would you try to separate Kundalini with a Faraday cage? Because you want to keep your laptop? I'll just get another used laptop. Yeah, I wouldn't say that a Faraday cage would work for that. And I'd like to say hello to Vicky. She's joining us there in the chat room. And if you're any questions in the chat room, please feel free to ask them. We're coming down to the last 10 minutes. No, Cole, no need to be sorry. And yes, Cole, in answer to another question that you asked another time, I am ready to invest myself into those areas that you were so kindly willing to help me with. So thank you for that. And I know you're back in school right now. We'll have to just work out some times. But no need to apologize. No need to apologize, really, for anything that you're saying. You're fairly straight up, my friend. Let me look here. No more. Oh, yeah, okay. It's hard to manage this thing that they do. Okay, Centaur, do you have any questions or last words that you want to say?
Well, will I ask a question?
Sure,
it was a short one. What can I do to alleviate or reduce the pain from like third eye expansion? It is so bad. I want to take some Tylenol, but not sure if it will help.
From what expansion? From where? Third eye.
Third eye.
Third eye. Yeah. So you had me at the
third
other
eye
end of the.
Expansion, yeah.
You had me at the other end of the body. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Take your thumb and go to the inner area. I have a video on this. It's one of the White Room dialogues. It's a position where you put your thumb tips into the inner recesses of the eye, not the eyeball itself, but the eye socket. And there are some points there that you touch with your thumb tips, as I demonstrate in that video. And you move that around. You kind of move the thumb tip in a circular motion. You have your fingertips on your forehead, and you're kind of, you're not gouging your eye at all, but you're manipulating this point within the inside area of your eye socket towards the nose, towards the bridge of the nose. And that can often alleviate the pain. And you can also take out any kind of dietary thing, hot spices, caffeine, sugar, anything of an impure, processed flour, processed sugar, anything that can really begin to be understood as a toxin. Take that out of your diet. And also get your feet on bare soil, I don't care if you have snow in your area, except maybe Minnesota and Pennsylvania right now. I mean, when you're getting into the negative areas, I do not want you going outside barefoot. Go barefoot into the garage if you have a garage. Just go barefoot around the house and let your grounding occur through the beams and into the ground under the house. But do not step outside in the sub-zero weather. I know it's been like, negative 12, negative 15, negative 17 in some of the areas I mentioned because of that cold wave that's hit the Northeast and also with Minnesota. So be very, very careful about, stepping outside in the cold. I know I don't really need to tell people about that either. So, I mean, common sense, right? Common sense. So Watch that White Room video. It's there. Over.
Okay, thanks, Chrism. So this person had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening in March, and after that had the feeling that I could heal, and I have been practicing a little bit on family members. I like to help more people now. So my question is there any form of healing that is best for healers that are living with awoken Kundalini? Is there something that I should be aware of? Thank you.
Yeah, the first thing you need to be aware of is that you're not the one doing the healing. Kundalini is. And based upon that premise, you will go and you will give healings where the Kundalini compels you to go and give healings. So, but you don't need to wave your hands over them like a witch doctor, okay? You don't need to wave your hands over them and say, oh, spirits of the universe, come into my hand and give this person a healing. No. You don't understand. You don't need to take anything from outside of yourself. It all comes from within. And from that pattern of within to without, it's your Kundalini that is fostering that gift. And so you don't really need to touch them. You don't really need to compress. Now, she may compel you to, and that's her prerogative. The Sacred Mother may compel you to do that, and that's her prerogative. But you as an individual, you, as I was telling Bo, you surrender first. The surrender is first. And then the applications that are the fruits of that surrender are second. And as you heal your family members, or the Kundalini within you heals your family members, don't look to just humans. Look at animals. Look at the cat or the dog or the bird or the wildlife around you. And be a beacon of healing from the inside out, a lighthouse of healing for all creation. You don't need to go to some special place unless you're going to go to a zoo. At a zoo, you can get everybody. You got the people, you got the animals, you got the whole thing. But I would do that, and I would focus first on your surrender to the grace flowing through you. Rather than focusing on the skills that are the result of grace flowing through you. So that's my answer to that one. And I think that's the last question, Amelia. And I'm going to give you a chance for the last word. Go ahead.
No last word, Chrism.
No, please. Okay. All right.
Okay, last word coming up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you again next week, same time, same channel, and hi to everybody in the archives as well. Thanks, everybody, as well in the chat room. It's great to see so many people there. I'm not going to list everybody, but hi, everybody, and goodbye for tonight.
Excellent. I'd like to echo that. Everybody in the chat room, and everybody who called in, Bo and Ishmael and Mohan, thank you for having the courage to come on and to ask those questions. And Rosemary, David, Joey, it's good to see you there as well. Everybody in the archives, everybody listening on the groups, and everybody in the chat room, it's good to see you. It's good to feel your presence, feel your energies. Thank you for showing up. And as Amelia said, we'll see you next Kundalini Wednesday, next Kundalini channel, and here we go.